Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user throwaway ex-fiancee6324. Am I the a-hole? My ex-fiancee tried to get my wife to cheat on me. I think my ex-fiancee Jess, 31 female, might have tried to get my wife Olivia, 30 female, drunk and cheat on me. My wife thinks I'm overreacting and overthinking the whole situation. Can someone tell me if I would be an a-hole to ask Olivia to stop being friends with Jess immediately? For context, Jess and I started dating during the sophomore year of our college. We met through mutual friends and connected instantly. She was charming and outgoing and made friends instantly everywhere she went. I am more shy and nerdy, but I enjoyed going out to parties with her. We got engaged on our graduation day as both our families were attending. I got a job at a big tech company right after college and Jess moved in with me while looking for jobs. That is when the relationship started going downhill. Jess was an art major and had trouble finding a stable job. She did a bunch of freelance work and mostly worked from home. I was overwhelmed with work. She always wanted to go out to bars and clubs, and I wanted to rest in the evening after 10 or 12 hours of work. I was okay with her going out with friends alone, and I would sometimes tag along on the weekend. It bothered me that she was still in her party girl phase. She complained that I was becoming boring and should enjoy my early 20s before we settled down. I was also not happy with the friends she hung out with, as there was a lot of drinking and drug use. Even when I went out with her friends, she would be extremely flirty with guys in her friends group. Her excuse was always that she gets flirty when she is drunk or she was just joking. I had enough and decided to call off the engagement after 2 years as we were just different people at that point. The breakup was messy and she kept trying to get back with me for almost a year. There were some incidences where Jess may not have acted in her best judgment and I blocked her from all my social media. I did not want to deal with the drama and wanted to move on. I also got a transfer to another town around that time and never heard from Jess again. This is when I started dating my wife Olivia. My wife was the exact opposite of Jess. She was very soft-spoken and a homebody like me. She knew I was engaged before. We dated for 3 years and happily married for 2 years now. However, one of the sticking points we always had was my Thursday nights. 3 of my closest college friends are now scattered all across the country, and we generally play a video game together on Thursday evenings since our college days. Olivia complained that she gets bored during that time. Then, about 6 months ago, Olivia told me she got a Facebook invite for a group where they had painting and wine nights on Thursdays. It was mostly 8 to 10 women who got together at someone's house and spent the evening painting, drinking wine, and gossiping. According to Olivia, it was just a few housewives and divorcees and they welcomed her. One of the women's names was Jess, but I did not think much of it. 2 weeks ago, Olivia told me it was Jess's birthday and they wanted to do a ladies' night at a club. Olivia hates loud music, but Jess convinced her to come for dinner and some drinks. On that night, I got a call from Olivia at 10 p.m. asking me if I could come and pick her up. I could tell something was wrong and immediately left to pick her up. I went to the bar and went in to pick up Olivia. I was shocked when I realized that her friend Jess was my ex-fiancée. She also looked surprised to see me there. I was polite and said hello to everyone, but Olivia wanted to get out of there as soon as possible. After we went in the car, I told Olivia that Jess was my ex-fiancée whom I had not seen for almost 7 years. Olivia was shocked to hear it and she did not know about it. It was crazy since I did not even know she lived in the same city as us. Olivia told me Jess was the one who had started the painting group. She had divorced her husband 2 years ago and moved to our city for a fresh start. The reason why she called me was because she was getting uncomfortable with the situation at the bar. Since Jess and one of the other women were single, they kept on encouraging guys hitting on them and inviting them over to their table. Jess was trying to get everyone drunk and was asking Olivia to open up and have fun. She was constantly hyping up Olivia to two of the guys who bought them a round of drinks. At this point, Olivia excused herself to go to the restroom and called me to pick her up. I am not happy with the situation, but I'm also not mad at Olivia. I am just uncomfortable with Olivia hanging out with Jess. I told Olivia about the same. Olivia told me that she was never going to put herself in the same situation again with Jess or anyone else. Also, this friend group is the only real social life she has since we both are in a completely new city. She does not want to stop going to her painting nights with her friends. I brought up the thought that Jess could be acting in malice, but Olivia told me she did not think Jess would know I was her husband, as Olivia never showed my picture to anyone in the group. She also said that it's been 7 years since we broke up. She said Jess is a kind person and I should not judge her based on one night when she was drunk. She still wants to stay friends with Jess. On one hand, I do not want to separate Olivia from her friends, but my gut feeling is telling me something is off in this situation. Besides, it feels weird to have my ex be friends with my wife. Am I the a-hole to want Olivia to stop being friends with Jess because of my gut feeling? Or should I just let it go as it's Olivia's call to make? Well, OP, here's the thing about your question. You want Olivia to stop being friends, but you haven't asked her to do it. So just wanting that does not make you the a-hole. And your other question also is a yes in the sense that it is Olivia's call to make who she's friends with or not. The fact is, Olivia is an adult and she gets to choose her friends and she decides when to call it quits like she did that night at the bar. Of course, you can give her your opinion if you want, but it is her decision. And regarding Jess, I couldn't tell you directly if she's acting out of malice, but it is very weird. I guess my argument to my wife would be to tell her that a true friend would not put her in the position that Jess did, to get her drunk and hype her up to have fun and open up with guys that are flirting with her. And also, I don't know if you've told Olivia your complete history with Jess. If you haven't, I would, so that Olivia can get a better read on the type of person that Jess is according to your perspective. You were engaged to her and you know her since sophomore year. And what do you guys think about OP's situation and what is your judgment? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's go check out the community comments. CatEmpty9861 says, information request. Did Olivia tell this group that she was married? Because if Jess knew she was married and was trying to get her to cheat on you, even if she didn't know it specifically you, then that is really scummy. She should not be hanging out with friends who encourage her to cheat on her spouse. And OP responds, yes, I know this because one of the ladies in the painting group lives in our neighborhood and she knows me as Olivia's husband. Plus, her Instagram and Facebook has all our pictures together. I also felt the same about Jess's behavior. She made her uncomfortable to a point where she had to call me to pick her up. Yum Yum Mittens Q4 says, not the a-hole. Jess is still obsessed with you and I highly doubt it never came up that your wife was married and even your name. No way Jess just randomly sought out your wife to invite her to paint and sip and had no clue she was your wife. Sounds like she had a messy divorce and wants the exact same with you. Even if this background situation isn't at play, it's weird and wrong for her to try and pressure her married friend into cheating on their first night out together. Your wife is trying very hard to fit in with this group of women, and if she doesn't get hurt now, it'll happen later. It's like Mean Girls. And She Who Knits says, not the a-hole, but you need to remain low-key and let Olivia process this information. The paint and wine nights are harmless, and the birthday bar night could just be a one-off and Olivia may choose to not participate in one ever again. She also knew how to handle the situation on her own, so she's not a vulnerable, naive wife fresh off the turnip truck. Trust your wife. If she gets any mean girl vibes off of Jess, she'll know how to deal. And Dopey responds, that is the approach I am taking for now. I do not really have any reason not to trust Olivia. It's Jess who I don't trust. However, I do not want to come out as an a-hole and insecure in asking her to stop seeing Jess, and as a consequence her friends group. She does not have a lot of friends and seems to enjoy being with others. Plus, the other women in the group seemed to be nice. Olivia told me that it was a lesson learned for her and would not put herself in situations anymore where she goes to bars alone. She felt Jess did not act inappropriately since she is single and is allowed to flirt with guys. Olivia just felt uncomfortable and removed herself from the situation. Additional information from OP's comments. We do have a couple of friends that we made with our coworkers. However, it's hard to make friends in a new town once you're above 30. I have one night every week when I catch up with my best friends via video games, and Olivia wanted something similar for her. It's her choice what she wants to do with her time. I don't want to control what she does, especially since it was not her fault what Jess did. The invite was sent via the Paint and Wine town name group. We assumed it was sent to a lot of women in our suburb. We always get such invites on Facebook from local interest groups. However, Jess is the one who started the group, so I cannot rule out that Jess sent it to her. My wife also has our wedding and vacation photos shared on Facebook, so if Jess sent it, she has to know I was her husband. Also, Olivia has taken my last name after our wedding. I think that the chances of Jess knowing about Olivia and me are extremely high, although she denied in the bar that she knew I was her husband. All my friends, they are my dorm room buddies, knew Jess, but I don't think they have ever brought up Jess since I moved here because they knew the crap that happened after the breakup. However, I will check with them to see if Jess contacted them recently. Finally, it's scary, but I never even considered the possibility that Jess might be planning to spike my wife's drink that night. It might be lucky for my wife to call me and be there before something bad happened. So the community doesn't think OP is the a-hole for wanting his wife and his ex not to be friends, and many are very skeptical. I am too. It's just too much of a coincidence. And OP's additional context does help with that thesis. However, we do have an update, so we get to know what happened. Now let's move on with that to see how this story ends. After the night of Jess's birthday, where she tried to get my wife drunk and flirt with strangers, I had a long conversation with my wife. I laid down why I was uncomfortable with her hanging out with Jess. My wife agreed with most of what I said, but she feels that enough time has passed now where we can let things go. She also talked to Jess and she told her that she had no idea about me and it's just one happy coincidence. I'd take that with a sack of salt. Jess also insisted to my wife that she moved on with her life after our breakup, found love, and unfortunately the marriage did not last. She told Olivia that maybe we all could go out for dinner together and clear out the issues. Jess also insisted that she was just having fun at the bar and apologized to my wife if her drunk behavior made her uncomfortable. My wife asked me if I would be okay with their friendship as she has not found a social group in the new town for a long time and Jess seems like a changed person. She also told me that she would only meet these women during her art night and not go out on girls' nights or trips. I felt that as long as Olivia was comfortable, I should not have any reason to be worried. We also had dinner with Jess once, and Jess was very friendly. She told me about what happened in her marriage and how she is on her healing journey right now. She also apologized to me for her behavior during our last few months together. Jess also now owns a business and works as a freelance artist and graphic designer. I also was gracious as we were just 23 and I harbor no ill feelings. My wife also started hosting art night at our place once a month or so, and I had to move to my office for my game nights. Then, last week, after the art night, Jess and one other lady hung back, and we were all drinking wine and chatting. The other lady was asking questions about Jess and I. Jess told her that it was old history and I went no contact with Jess for 4 years. That was the reason why she had no idea about Olivia. Olivia looked at me and asked Jess, "You mean 7 years ago, right?" Jess said no, that was when we broke up. However, we met every time I came back to my hometown. I thought she was drunk, so I corrected her again that it was 7 years ago and she was misremembering things. Jess said maybe and we moved on. The next day, Jess sent a bunch of photos to my wife of me and Jess hanging out. They were just innocent photos like us having dinner at a music festival, working out together, etc. The weirdest part was I had a few tattoos on my body that I got after I broke up with Jess. I also never owned the clothes the person in the photo was wearing. The photos were time-stamped to 4 years ago, Christmas of 2019. Olivia freaked out because we started dating in summer 2019. I did make a trip alone to my hometown in Christmas 2019, however, I never met Jess. She started asking me why I did not tell her about meeting Jess. I tried to tell her that these things never happened, but she does not believe me. She also called Jess and Jess told her that we met because I was back in town. However, she said we were just platonic at that point and it's not what my wife is thinking. I confronted Jess and she told me that I am stupid to not tell Olivia about meeting her and also not telling her about Olivia. She says that I told her I am still single. Olivia is very angry at me. She is not believing a word I am saying. I kept on telling her that I have not seen her for 7 years. Olivia says she does not mind me meeting her, but I should have told her as we were together. I volunteered to show her all my phone records during that time, but they only go back to 3 years on my carrier. I am confused how those photos can even exist when I never met her. They are definitely photos from when I was with Olivia, as I look more muscular in these pictures and also have tattoos that I did not have back then. I even told her she can call my friends and family and ask them about the trip, but she says that she has all the photos of my trip and my friends and family will cover for me. Now I need to convince Olivia that this is all false. But she is just angry at me and giving me the silent treatment. I swear that I did not meet up with Jess during that trip and I'm caught up in this mess without my fault. I tried to convince my wife it might be photoshopped. My wife wants to believe me, but after watching the photos and checking every possible thing, she does not trust me anymore. I also tried to find any inconsistencies in the photos that might make it seem that way. However, everything just looked right. Even the letters in the tattoos on my arm look correct in one of the pictures from the gym where I am in workout clothes. A hole in her story is that if I had been seeing her when I went back, why would she had apologized at the dinner for her behavior in the last months of our relationship? If we had made up platonic for years, then it would mean we talked it out. Still, the more I get angry and react to this, the more guilty I will look. So I am trying to be patient and trying to get evidence before I go full scorched earth and destroy her. Wow, well OP, that hole in her story that you found is a good place to start. Also, let's not forget that this is an art major that has a graphic design company, so she definitely has the software and the knowledge to create those photos. That means she created the opportunity by becoming friends with your wife. And she's got the motive because, well, you're an ex that actually blocked her out of your life. And I guess my final question here is, what's the point in her sending those pictures to your wife? What's she trying to prove here? It's not like it was a really important topic unless she wanted to get you in trouble and have your wife not trust you. So I guess Jess's journey is on a very dark path. So on that note, OP, be careful. I'll be following up on your story to see if we have any other updates in the future. In the meantime, take care, OP. And now, let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user Pimmel. Manager threatens to write me up with salary deduction if I won't give a doctor's note for asking my excess hours just because I am sick. So I, 30 female, have been working with this company for 3 years already. I work on retail and our managers are always micromanaging and will write us up each time just by breathing. Just kidding. But you can tell how they are up our nose all the time. I was even once written up for eating during my lunch break in our shop. That's for another story. Now, my days off are scheduled every Thursday and I was already feeling ill days before my day off. I had waited until my day off to rest and hope I could feel better, but when the end of my day off comes, I still feel sick, so I informed my boss if I can use my excess hours and not come to work the next day since I am so sick. Just for context, our company never pays for our overtime, but expects us to work 12 hours of every day and per day they will give us 2 hours excess and since I never requested until that particular day, I had racked up 120 excess hours overtime, which can be used for days off, etc. I had only requested 1 day extra off, which would amount to 10 hours to be deducted from my long extra hours accumulated, but my boss threatens to write me up if I don't provide a doctor's note. She informed me that even if I do provide one, she won't deduct it from my hours. So I comply and went to the doctor and take a medical note and was given a 3-day recommended rest and sent it to my manager. Now she has no choice but to let me have 3 additional days paid sick leave, and I won't be back to the shop until Monday instead of just giving me a day to rest. Laughing face. Now, Saturday comes and the shop has a lot of issues without me, and my reliever is having a hard time coping from work, so my manager calls me and I didn't respond to any of her messages nor calls and just rested well. Monday came and I reported the company to labor claims, and the company was forced to pay me that 120 hours overtime. Laughing face. Checkmate. Well, she wanted a doctor's note and she had to give you 3 days and pay you your 120 hours. What weird policies that company has, man. Well done, OP. Thank you for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.